Who was the true king of the animal kingdom? Was it the lion? Or was it a predator that lived millions of years before lions ever existed? What was the most powerful animal to ever walk the earth? The largest? The smartest? The deadliest? If we could travel back in time, would we witness giant mammoths crossing frozen plains? Would we come face to face with saber-toothed cats stalking their prey? Would we dare enter the oceans ruled by the gigantic megalodon? Why did some animals survive for millions of years while others vanished forever? Was it nature that decided their fate? Or did humans play a role in their disappearance? Today, we begin a journey through the incredible history of Earth's animals. From the mighty giants of prehistory to the fascinating creatures that still share our planet today. Some of these animals continue to thrive. Others exist only in fossils, ancient bones, and forgotten stories. Yet their legacy remains alive. Because every animal is a chapter in the story of our planet, a story of survival, a story of adaptation, a story of extinction, and perhaps a story that reveals more about humanity than we realize. But what about today? What does life look like for the animals that still roam our planet? When we think about wildlife, we often imagine lions hunting on the African savanna, wolves moving through dark forests, or whales crossing vast oceans. But how much do we really know about their lives? What is it like to wake up every day in a world where survival is never guaranteed? What does a lion think about when it scans the horizon? How does a wolf pack decide where to travel next? Why do elephants remember places they have not visited for years? And how do birds navigate thousands of miles without maps, roads, or technology? Every day, billions of animals wake up with a single goal: to survive, to find food, to avoid becoming food, to protect their families, to adapt to a world that is constantly changing. For many animals, life is a never-ending challenge. A young gazelle may only be a few minutes old when it is forced to run for its life. A sea turtle hatchling may have to cross an entire beach filled with predators before it ever reaches the ocean. A tiny bird may travel farther in a single year than most humans travel in a lifetime. But how do they know what to do? Who teaches them? How much of their behavior is instinct, and how much is learned from experience? Scientists are still trying to answer these questions, because the more we study animals, the more surprising they become. Some animals form friendships, some hold grudges, some mourn their dead, some even appear to recognize themselves in mirrors. Could intelligence exist in forms very different from our own? Could some animals understand their world in ways that humans never will? Consider the elephant. Why does it return to the bones of family members years after their deaths? Why does it gently touch those remains with its trunk? Is it curiosity, memory, or something that resembles grief? Then there are dolphins, animals capable of solving complex problems, recognizing individual names, and cooperating in ways that seem almost human. What is happening inside their minds beneath the waves? And what secrets are still hidden within their underwater societies? Even creatures that appear simple can be astonishing. Ant colonies can contain millions of individuals working together with extraordinary precision. Bees communicate through movement. Octopuses solve puzzles. Crows use tools. Ravens plan for the future. The deeper we look, the harder it becomes to draw a clear line between human intelligence and animal intelligence. Perhaps the greatest mystery is not how different animals are from us. Perhaps the real mystery is how similar they can be. Yet life is becoming increasingly difficult for many species. Forests are shrinking. Oceans are warming. Habitats are disappearing. Animals that once ruled entire regions now struggle to survive. Some species are fighting for their future. Others may already be approaching extinction. The question is no longer whether animals can adapt. The question is whether they can adapt fast enough. And if they disappear, What will the world lose? A species? A piece of nature? Or a chapter of a story that has been unfolding for millions of years? Because every animal alive today is the result of an incredible journey through time. A journey filled with danger, survival, evolution, and change. And their story is far from over. But perhaps there is an even bigger question, a question most people never stop to ask. What would happen if animals disappeared? Not one species, not a few species, all of them. What would the world look like if every animal suddenly vanished from Earth? At first, some people might think very little would change. After all, humans build cities, humans create technology, humans control much of the planet. But is that really true? Or is the world around us supported by countless invisible connections that most people never notice? Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. The birds are gone. No songs, no movement in the sky, no wings above the forests. The oceans are silent. The forests are silent. The world feels strangely empty. At first, life might continue as normal. Cars would still move. Buildings would still stand. People would still go to work. But beneath the surface, something catastrophic would already be beginning. Who pollinates the plants? Who carries pollen from flower to flower? Who helps countless trees, fruits, vegetables, and crops reproduce? Without bees, butterflies, birds, bats, and other pollinators, entire ecosystems would begin to collapse. How many of the foods we eat every day would disappear? How many farms would fail? How long could humanity continue feeding billions of people? Then there are predators. For thousands of years, humans feared wolves, lions, sharks, crocodiles, and other hunters. But what happens when there are no hunters left? What happens when nothing controls populations? Nature depends on balance. Every predator removes the weak, the sick, and the vulnerable. Without predators, many ecosystems become unstable. Without balance, entire environments begin to change. But the crisis would not stop there. What about the oceans? Who keeps marine ecosystems healthy? Who controls fish populations? Who removes dead material from the water? What happens when whales, dolphins, sharks, seals, and countless other creatures vanish? The oceans produce much of the oxygen we breathe. Could the health of entire oceans begin to deteriorate? And what about decomposition? When a tree falls in the forest, what happens to it? When an animal dies, what happens next? Countless insects, worms, fungi, and microorganisms help recycle nutrients back into nature. Without these systems, dead matter would accumulate. Nutrient cycles would break down. Life itself would begin losing its ability to renew itself. But perhaps the greatest loss would be something less visible, something emotional, something deeply human. Imagine a world without dogs, without horses, without dolphins, without elephants, without whales singing beneath the sea, without eagles soaring above mountains, without fireflies lighting up summer nights, without penguins, without wolves howling beneath the moon. Would the world still feel alive, or would it feel like something essential had been stolen from it? For millions of years, animals have shaped this planet, long before humans appeared, long before cities existed, long before history was written. They built ecosystems, they shaped forests, they transformed landscapes, they became part of Earth's greatest story. And perhaps that story teaches us something important. Animals are not simply living beside us, they are helping hold the entire living world together. The question is not whether humans need animals. The real question may be, can Earth remain Earth without them? And if the answer is no, then perhaps protecting animals is not only about saving wildlife, perhaps it is also about saving the future of humanity itself. But if animals are so important today, what was their world like in the distant past? Was nature always the way we see it now? Were forests the same? Were oceans the same? Were the animals themselves the same? The answer is no, not even close. If we could travel back millions of years, we would enter a world that would feel almost alien. A world where giant creatures walked the land. A world where survival was even more brutal. A world where nature ruled with almost unimaginable power. Today, the African elephant is the largest land animal on Earth. But what if we told you that entire landscapes were once filled with creatures far larger than many animals alive today? Imagine standing in a frozen grassland during the Ice Age. In the distance, massive woolly mammoths slowly move across the horizon. Their long tusks curve toward the sky. Their thick fur protects them from temperatures that would kill most modern animals. Nearby, giant bison graze peacefully, but danger is never far away, because somewhere in the shadows, predators are watching. Saber-toothed cats, dire wolves, massive bears, hunters built for a world far harsher than our own. But why were so many ancient animals gigantic? Why were prehistoric creatures often larger than modern ones? Was it the climate, the abundance of food, the absence of humans? Scientists still debate many of these questions. Yet one thing is certain: ancient ecosystems operated differently. Life moved according to rules that no longer exist. In some eras, oxygen levels were much higher than today, and that created astonishing creatures. Imagine dragonflies with wings wider than some birds, giant millipedes crawling through ancient forests, insects so large that modern people would hardly believe they once existed. And then there were the oceans. Today, great white sharks are among the most feared predators in the sea. But millions of years ago, something much larger ruled the oceans: the megalodon, a shark that could reach lengths of over 15 meters. Its jaws were large enough to swallow prey that modern sharks could never handle. What would it feel like to see such a creature rising from the darkness below? Would any human dare enter those waters? Ancient animals also face challenges that modern animals rarely experience: climate shifts, ice ages, volcanic eruptions, changing continents, entire habitats disappearing over thousands of years. To survive, species had to adapt constantly. Some succeeded, others vanished forever. And unlike today, there were no cities, no roads, no farms, no human-made borders. Nature stretched across vast regions untouched. Animals could migrate for hundreds or even thousands of kilometers. Herds moved freely, predators followed. The balance of life depended entirely on nature itself. Yet despite all these differences, some things never changed. Ancient animals still searched for food, still protected their young, still fought for territory, still struggled to survive. In many ways, the challenges faced by a mammoth thousands of years ago were not so different from the challenges faced by an elephant today. The world changed. The landscapes changed. The species changed. But the fight for survival remained the same. And perhaps that is the greatest connection between the ancient animal kingdom and the modern one. Millions of years separate them, yet both lived under the same law: adapt, survive, or disappear forever. But perhaps the most remarkable thing about animals is not how they lived millions of years ago, and not even how they live today. Perhaps the most remarkable thing is that they continue to survive at all. Because for many animals, every single day is a battle that never truly ends. When we look at nature from a distance, it can seem peaceful: a lion resting beneath a tree, a whale gliding through the ocean, a bird flying across a blue sky. But is nature really peaceful? Or are we only seeing a small part of the story? What happens when the hunt begins? What happens when food becomes scarce? What happens when drought arrives? When winter becomes harsher? When forests disappear? When oceans grow warmer? For countless animals, survival is becoming more difficult than ever before. Imagine being a young polar bear, The ice beneath your feet grows thinner every year. The hunting grounds your ancestors relied on begin to disappear. How far must you travel to find food? How long can you survive without it? Or imagine being an elephant. For thousands of years, your species crossed vast landscapes. Today, roads, cities, and fences stand in your way. Where do you go when your ancient migration routes no longer exist? What happens when the land remembers your path, but the world has changed? Even the smallest creatures face enormous challenges. A bee may visit thousands of flowers in a single day. A sea turtle may travel across entire oceans. A salmon may swim against powerful rivers to reach the place where it was born. Why do they continue? What drives them forward? How do they know where to go? And how many survive the journey? The truth is that most animals never stop working, never stop searching, never stop adapting. Every day they must find food, avoid predators, protect their young, compete for territory, fight disease, endure extreme weather, and increasingly, they must survive a world shaped by humans. Forests are cut down, rivers are altered, oceans fill with pollution, natural habitats shrink year after year. Animals that once roamed freely across continents now find themselves trapped in isolated fragments of wilderness. But despite all of this, they continue. Wolves still raise their pups, birds still build their nests, whales still cross the oceans, elephants still guide their families through harsh landscapes. Nature refuses to give up, and perhaps that is one of the greatest stories ever told. Not the story of the strongest animal, not the story of the fastest animal, but the story of resilience, the story of life itself. Because every animal alive today is the descendant of survivors, creatures that endured ice ages, mass extinctions, volcanic disasters, climate shifts, predators, disease, and countless dangers we can barely imagine. Their existence is proof of something extraordinary. Life does not survive because it is easy. Life survives because it adapts, because it persists, because it keeps moving forward. And as long as animals continue fighting for survival, the story of Earth is still being written. The question is, will future generations inherit a world filled with these incredible creatures? Or will many of them become only memories, photographs, and fossils, just like the giants that came before them? Humans often see themselves as separate from the animal kingdom. But are we? What truly makes us different from every other creature on Earth? Is it our intelligence, our ability to speak, our technology? Or is the answer far more complicated? After all, many animals are intelligent. Dolphins solve problems. Crows use tools. Octopuses can escape complex traps. Elephants remember places, faces, and even events from years ago. If intelligence exists throughout the animal kingdom, then what makes human intelligence unique? Perhaps it is not intelligence itself. Perhaps it is imagination. Humans can think about things that do not exist. We can imagine tomorrow. We can imagine the future. We can create stories, religions, nations, laws, and entire civilizations from ideas alone. No lion worries about what will happen in 50 years. No eagle dreams about building a city. No whale writes history, yet humans do. But is imagination enough to explain our success? What about language? Many animals communicate. Birds sing, wolves howl. Whales produce songs that travel across oceans. Bees even communicate through movement. Yet human language is different. With language, we can share knowledge across generations. One person discovers something, millions can learn it. Knowledge does not die with the individual. It accumulates, it grows, it transforms the world. Perhaps that is humanity's greatest superpower. Not strength, not speed, not claws, not teeth, but the ability to pass information from one generation to the next. Think about it. A human baby is born weaker than almost every young animal. It cannot walk, cannot hunt, cannot defend itself. Yet that same child may one day build spacecraft, cure diseases, or explore distant planets. How? Because every generation inherits the knowledge of those who came before. Animals inherit instincts. Humans inherit civilizations. And perhaps this is where everything changed. At some point, humans stopped merely adapting to nature. They began changing nature itself. They built homes, then villages, then cities, then nations. Forests became roads. Rivers became reservoirs. Mountains became tunnels. For the first time in Earth's history, a species began reshaping the planet on a global scale. But does that make humans superior, or simply more powerful? After all, many animals possess abilities humans can only dream of. Eagles see farther, cheetahs run faster, whales dive deeper, bats navigate in total darkness, dogs smell things humans cannot even detect. In many ways, humans are physically inferior to countless animals. So perhaps our greatest advantage is not what we can do individually. Perhaps it is what we can do together. Humans cooperate in groups larger than any other animal. Millions of strangers can work toward the same goal. They can build cities, create governments, develop science, explore space. No other species has achieved anything comparable. Yet this extraordinary ability comes with a question. If humans are different from other animals, why do we still share so much with them? Why do we feel fear, love, jealousy, curiosity? Why do we protect our families, compete for status, form friendships, experience grief? The more scientists study animal behavior, the more similarities they discover. Perhaps humans are not separate from nature after all. Perhaps we are simply one branch of a much larger story, a story that began billions of years ago, a story shared by every living creature on Earth. And maybe the most important question is not what separates us from animals. Maybe the real question is how much of the animal still lives within us. So, who is the true king of the animal kingdom? Is it the lion, the eagle, the whale, the elephant? Or perhaps we have been asking the wrong question all along, because throughout this journey we have seen creatures that ruled the oceans, creatures that dominated the skies, creatures that shook the ground beneath their feet. Some survived for millions of years, others vanished forever. Entire worlds appeared. Entire worlds disappeared. Yet life continued again and again, through ice ages, through mass extinctions, through volcanic catastrophes, through climate changes powerful enough to transform the entire planet. And somehow, life always found a way forward. Perhaps the greatest lesson animals teach us is not about strength. The largest animals disappeared. The fastest animals disappeared. Even some of the most powerful predators vanished from history. What endured was something else: adaptation, persistence, the ability to change when the world changes. Today, millions of species continue that struggle. Every bird crossing the sky, every whale swimming through the ocean, every wolf moving through the forest, every tiny insect hidden beneath a leaf. Each one carries a story millions of years in the making, a story older than humanity itself. And perhaps that should make us pause for a moment, because humans often see themselves as separate from nature. But are we really? The atoms in our bodies were once part of ancient oceans. The oxygen we breathe exists because life transformed this planet long before our ancestors appeared. The story of animals is not separate from our story. It is our story. Without the first animals, there would be no mammals. Without mammals, there would be no humans. Without the countless survivors that came before us, none of us would be here today. Which means that when we look into the eyes of another animal, we are not looking at something completely different. We are looking at a distant relative, a fellow traveler, a survivor of the same ancient journey. And perhaps the most important question is not what animals can teach us, but whether we are willing to learn, because the future of countless species is now tied to our decisions. Some animals may disappear within our lifetime. Others may survive because of the choices we make today. The next chapter of life on Earth is still being written, and for the first time in history, one species has the power to influence how that chapter ends. So the next time you hear birds singing at dawn, see a whale breach the ocean's surface, watch an eagle soar above the mountains, or simply notice a small creature crossing your path, remember this: you are witnessing the result of billions of years of survival, billions of years of evolution, billions of years of life refusing to give up. And that may be the greatest story ever told. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through the animal kingdom, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and share your thoughts below, because there are still countless mysteries of nature waiting to be discovered. Before we finish, there is one final question. What part of the animal kingdom fascinates you the most? Was it the story of the first animals that appeared hundreds of millions of years ago? The giant creatures that once ruled the earth? The incredible intelligence of modern animals? Or the daily struggle for survival that continues all around us at this very moment? The animal kingdom is filled with mysteries far too vast to explore in a single documentary. There are creatures hidden in the deepest parts of the ocean that scientists have barely studied. There are species living in remote forests that few humans have ever seen. There are extinct animals whose stories remain incomplete. And there are questions that science still cannot fully answer. What was the most terrifying predator in Earth's history? Could extinct animals like the woolly mammoth one day return? How intelligent are dolphins, whales, crows, and octopuses? Really? What secrets are hidden in the unexplored depths of the oceans? How did dinosaurs truly live? And what creatures might exist on our planet that we have not yet discovered? Perhaps our next journey will take us into the age of the dinosaurs. Perhaps we will explore the greatest extinctions in Earth's history. Perhaps we will uncover the mysteries of the deep sea. Or maybe we will investigate the most dangerous animals that have ever existed. But now we want to hear from you. What documentary would you like to see next? What animal has always fascinated you? What mystery would you like us to explore? Leave your thoughts, ideas, and suggestions in the comments below. We read your comments carefully, and many of our future documentaries are inspired by the curiosity of viewers like you. Your idea might become the next video on this channel. And if you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It may seem like a small action, but it helps us continue creating long-form documentaries about history, nature, science, and the mysteries of our world. The story of life on Earth is far from over. There are still countless mysteries waiting to be uncovered, countless creatures waiting to be understood, and countless stories waiting to be told. So until our next journey, stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop asking questions, because every great discovery begins with a single question. We'll see you in the next documentary. Did you know monkeys have their own friendships? Some monkeys spend years with the same companions, helping each other find food and stay safe. They can recognize faces, solve problems, and even use simple tools. When a member of the group dies, some monkeys have been seen showing signs of grief. The more scientists study monkeys, the more they discover how surprisingly similar they are to us. Maybe the biggest mystery isn't how different we are from monkeys, but how much we still have in common.